Welcome to Inmate Tea with AMP. I'm April, and on the phone is my co-host, Pig. And we have today on the phone also Richard Blanton, who is incarcerated, and he has called in today to talk to us about his case. Welcome, Richard.
How are you doing?
We are doing well, and we're glad to have you today.
Doing well.
If you could, let's start with how long of a sentence that you were given, and then where you are in that sentence. How long have you been incarcerated at this point?
I am serving a 77 to 105 month sentence, minus 12 months personally, which would be 93 months. For first degree kidnapping, robbery with dangerous weapons, assault with deadly weapon, inflict serious injury. And I am 38 months into my sentence. I took my plea in New Hanover County, North Carolina, June the 14th of 2022. I got arrested in March of 22 on the 28th.
Okay. All right, and let's get into what happened. Walk us through it.
Okay. Me and my friend Bryce, we were at his house. And we went to go get some drugs, and I went to my drug dealer's house, and there was a girl named Kayla there. Kayla asked if she could come to the house, which Bryce told her yes. And when she got to the house, she had another female, which is Kim, another one of my co-defendants, and the victim, Jason.
Did you know these two women
Jason.
prior?
I knew Kayla and Kim. I did not know Jason. I had never met Jason in my life. Jason came in the house with Kim. Kim was on the bed. Kayla was in the bathroom. And somewhere, some point, Jason snuck in the bathroom with Kayla. And we heard like a tapping sound. So Bryce looked at me and he said, "Get them out of my house. My mother is in the other room." So I opened up the door to the bathroom, which Kayla and Jason were in the bathroom together. And he slammed the bathroom door with his foot. I looked at Bryce. I said, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Get him out." So I opened the bathroom door again, pulled him off of Kayla. Kayla was unconscious.
Okay.
I laid her on the bed, and he was acting like he did something wrong. You know how, you do something wrong if somebody's around you and you start getting fidgety, and
yeah.
So I asked him to leave.
Now wait, when you say you pulled him off of her, what do you mean by that?
He was having intercourse with her.
Okay, so they were in the act.
Yes.
Okay, and she's unconscious.
She's unconscious. The reason I know she's unconscious is because when I grabbed her arm and tried to get her to stand up, she almost fell and hit her head on the toilet.
Oh, goodness.
So I laid her on the bed, and she slept the rest of the night. Me and Kim went in the other room, and Kim told me that through the whole night that Jason had raped her. And I'm like, well, I don't know that for a fact. So the next morning,
this is Kim telling you that?
This is Kim telling me that Jason has raped Kayla.
Okay.
So in the morning, Bryce called me in there, and I asked Kayla what happened, and I told her what happened, and then I asked her, were you having sex with him? Her eyes got real big, and she called me by my nickname, which is Hollywood. She said, "Oh my God, Hollywood, he raped me." At this point, I said, "Well, Colin, I was giving him a chance to defend himself. A girl said that you raped her. Come in the house and tell me what happened." You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not entirely sure that he raped her because she is a prostitute.
Okay. Are both of these women prostitutes?
I think Kim was in the act, but she wasn't like 100% a prostitute. She was just doing it to make a little bit of money to supply her drug habit.
Okay. Did they both come back to your house for that purpose?
They came to the house to get high. That's basically all they did.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
yeah, there was no money.
They come to your house. They come to your house to party. pretty much to
Yeah.
y'all was going to get high and hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, that's exactly right, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
The next morning, when she told me that he raped her, I get her to call him. Well, she had left some stuff in his truck. So he he come over. Well, my friend Bryce has a Ring doorbell, so you can see it on the camera. It pops up on TV whenever somebody comes up on the doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I seen him coming up, and I opened the door, and he backed up. He's not trying to come in the house. I said, look, man, look, I need you to come in here. He's with his mother, by the way. Mother's sitting out there in the car. He's not in the truck he was last night. We later learned that truck was his father's. Then he wouldn't come in the house. I said, look, this girl says you raped her. He was like, he was speechless. I said, come in here and defend yourself. He said, man, I got to go to work. I said, well, just come in here for a couple of minutes and defend yourself. Nobody's going to hurt you. Nobody's going to touch you. This girl's saying this. I want to make sure it's true or if it's not true. She is a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
So he would never come in. So I took that as he raped her. The man won't defend himself. So apparently the girl's telling the truth. So I said, okay, so you want to be, for lack of a better word, a bee about it, then when I see you again, I'm gonna peel your head back. Later that day, we got a hotel room. Kim went over to McDonald's, which is traveling is right beside the hotel that we got. Traveling. She got up with him and he come over. I was standing outside, dapped him up like nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I got him in the hotel room and I gave him the option. Said, look, I can either go get her a rape kit and you can go to jail for 20 years, or I can, we can do it the other way. He said, what's the other way? I said, well, I can beat your ass. He said, well, I don't want to go to jail. So I grabbed him up and I painted a room with him. And I may have took it too far.
Hold on.
But,
let's stop here for a second because I want to ask a couple questions. One being, okay, so the guy that you found on top of her was this Jason that you found on top of her in the bathroom when she was unconscious?
Yes, ma'am.
So you already had a good indication that he did rape her because you knew that she was pretty much unconscious when you found her in the bathroom.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had it right there.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me ask you a question, Richard. So the next day, after you've done and confronted him one time, the next day he returns back to a motel room with Kim?
No, that was the same day. After I confronted him later that night, after I told him if I seen him again, I was going to peel his wig back, he came into the hotel room with me, Kim, and Kayla.
So pretty much
and I gave him a choice.
That there was a possibility. Pretty much he knew there was a possibility that something could go ensue when he went into this room with y'all.
That's right. He knew that.
Okay.
He knew that. So, and also the fact that we have a video or a audio recording on Kim's phone where he admitted to raping Kayla while he was sitting on the bed beside Kayla. But see, the police didn't. They seized our phones and they extracted our phones, and they wouldn't use that for evidence.
Yeah.
We then in turn, Kayla tied him up, put him up in the chair, took his truck keys, and told Kim to go get her boyfriend, AT. When AT come in there, it was about 9 o'clock, and we beat him on and off for, I want to say, from 7, 8, from 8 o'clock maybe to almost 2:30 in the morning. We tied him up. We split his head open. I had fractured his face after we beat him unmercifully for 8 hours off and on. Kayla and AT took his truck, and I told him, I said, you need to come back because, all this is on film. I didn't realize at the time that Kayla had left not Kayla, but Kim had left the door open when AT come in, so it caught us on film stomping him out for about 5 minutes. before she closed the door. Then they never came back. So
is the other guy helping, beat this guy? Is he the boyfriend to the girl that was raped?
I would guess.
Okay.
I don't know. They were kissing, hugging, making out. So I would guess so. I don't know.
Okay.
So realize I'm at the point. Kim's trying to call Kayla, trying to get her to come back. With the truck, because now it's Grand Theft Auto. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, I finally get him calmed down. And I told him, I said, look, this is what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to take you to the hospital. You're going to tell me you got hit by a truck. And, you're not going to say my name. You're not going to say Kim's name. You're not going to say nobody else's name. You're going to tell him you got hit. He said, well, what about my truck? I said, I'm going to get your truck.
From a North Carolina correctional facility.
I said, Kayla's going to bring your truck back. I said, I'll get your truck back. I said, but I need you to go to the hospital and tell me you got hit by a truck and then Kim found you. He's like, okay. Well, Kim had got up with Kayla, and Kayla, she was on speakerphone. Well, she said that somebody was coming over there with a gun, and they won't kill him. So he gets completely all out of sorts, and I had the door open, and he ran out the door, and I tried to grab him, and the camera caught me trying to grab him. He ran over to McDonald's. He banged on McDonald's door, and that's when the police came. Originally, when they knocked on the door, they were looking for Hollywood and Jade, not Richard and Kim. So when we give them Richard and Kim's names, they left. I said, oh, we're good. So I got all the stuff up, but Kim, I don't know if she was like completely iced out and she didn't, what she wasn't thinking. This is her first time probably being in trouble. You know what I'm saying? She's never had she don't have a criminal record, so she really don't know what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to me,
now,
to doing anything criminal. So she took
now,
all
Richard, let me ask you a question.
Say what?
Before you go any further, I want you to explain to our viewers. You just said Kim could have been iced out. Explain to us, just kind of tell us what that means.
Kim could have been what?
Being iced out.
Iced
what does
out.
that mean?
She was on meth. We were all on meth.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, we even the victim was on meth.
Okay.
One question, as a non-drug user ever in my life, what does meth do to you? What effect does it have?
For me, I shoot it, or I did. I don't do it no more. I'm saved, so I gave up all that. But at that point, I was shooting methamphetamine. It makes your heart beat fast. It gives you a lot of energy, and if you do it enough and you stay up long enough, it makes you delusional. It makes you see things. It makes you. It basically turns you into a Superman.
Okay.
But it makes you delusional. It makes you. You have the qualities of Superman, but you also have the flaws of him with kryptonite around him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a quick way to explain it. But anyway, so after all that, I left. She had taken the tools out and threw them under the bed. So what I was going to do, I was going to throw it in the dumpster behind Food Line, which is across from the motel room in Wilmington. And when I got to the dumpster, there was nothing in there in my book bag. So I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, I come out, Kim's sitting on the bench waiting for her ride, and I walk off, and then I'm surrounded by police, and then they bring Kim around, take us over to Travel Inn, back to Travel Inn, and then they cuff us and they take us to jail for first-degree kidnapping, robbery of dangerous weapon, and the original charge was assault by strangulation. Then they indicted us a week later, a month later, my bad. They caught AT and Kayla Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
So what?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Pig.
So the whole incident that you just explained to us, this guy had agreed to, so to speak, take this ass with him for raping this girl,
Yeah.
rather than you calling the police and taking her to get a rape kit. Rather than you do it legally. He agreed to a good ass whipping. Okay, after y'all went a little too far, so he got away and went to McDonald's and called the police, and now you're locked up for something he agreed to let you do.
That's exactly right. All four of us is locked up.
Okay, so you both women and the maybe boyfriend. Okay, y'all all four are incarcerated right now for this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
what about the guy that raped the girl? Did he ever get charges for rape?
No.
Why not?
Never.
Did she press charges?
I don't know what she did. She told me, Kayla, and Kim told the police that he raped her, and basically the DA refused to press charges against him because Kayla is a prostitute. That's what my lawyer told me.
This was from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Okay, so they told you that they were not going to press charges because she was a prostitute.
And because we took matters in our own hands and kidnapped him.
Looking back now, would you have done anything differently?
That's hard to say. But don't get me wrong. I wish I had handled it different. I wish I had just taken Kayla to the hospital and gotten her a rape kit, and I would be wasting 6 years of my life in prison.
Yeah.
But don't get me twisted, though. He deserved what he got, and I have no remorse for him. Yes, I did take it a little bit too far because the drugs were in play. I mean, you know, if you rape somebody or if you molest children or something like that, you're a piece of trash. That's the way I look at it. You know, I can't. If you hurt women or you hurt children, or if you're out there doing things that you're not supposed to do with women and children, man, like, you're a piece of trash. Like, you deserve to be in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't deserve. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people that, you know, had done them crimes and they've come to repentance for the Lord. You know, and you know, the Bible says if anybody be saved and accept Jesus, then he's a new creation in Christ. But you still have that sinful nature in you. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, if the man ain't trying to do anything to correct his life, then why should I give him any kind of remorse? See what I'm saying? But, I mean, to answer your question more, yeah, kind of, because now Kim's sitting in prison, and she's never had a criminal record. You know, this is her first time being in prison. They gave her 8 years, from what I heard. She didn't deserve that. She didn't even do anything, you know?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Kim, but, I mean, I wasn't in love with her. And I wish her the best. Same with Kayla. Now, as far as the boyfriend goes, you know, he was never a part of it until Kayla brought him into it. So I don't really know, you know, I do know from the fact that, you know, what my lawyer told me, that after all this was said and done, that we found out that him and Kayla had been riding with Jason about 2 or 3 days. Like, all this come out in the motion. So he had been taking them around to their tricks 2 or 3 days prior to all this. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know for sure, but what I've seen with my own eyes, he raped her. So,
yeah.
So you're telling us there's a possibility that some of this could have been under false pretense, and she could have got caught in there saying that he raped her, and, you know, they could have been having sexual intercourse the whole time because he was riding her around, the prostitute. And when you called her, it was just that at that point in time, when you caught him doing what he was doing, he actually forced himself onto her.
Could be possible. He didn't defend himself. He didn't come in there and tell me this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
if he had come in there and told
Yeah.
me this, I'd be like, okay, well, then I would have looked at her like, what's going on? Like, did you agree to this? Like, it could have been solved a whole different way. But
Yeah.
again, don't get me wrong. If it was the case that I believe that happened, that he raped her, he deserved what he got. But if I'm wrong, God forgive me, and I have to ask for God for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
for you to go in the bathroom and find her to the point that she's so unconscious she can't even stand up, I would agree with you that it would be hard for a woman in that position to give consent. But at the same time, there are laws and there are tests that detect this kind of thing, had you went that route.
But yeah, like I said, if I'm wrong, God forgive me. If I'm right, then I'm proud of what I did. To be honest with you.
Well,
yeah.
Richard, in closing, I want our viewers to understand, for the purpose of the law, anytime that something like this happens, the proper way to do it is to go the legal route, not to take matters into your own hands, no matter how hard it is and how bad you would want to hurt somebody for hurting someone you love, whether it's your child, whether it's your sister, or anyone else. But, I want our viewers to understand that it's always best to follow the law and go through with the law and not take matters into your own hands. But if you do, just know there are severe consequences that can arise, as Richard explained today. We want to thank you for coming on, Richard, and telling your story and sharing this with us. It's very informative, and it shows the injustices of the law, because the law knows this man committed a rape and they did nothing about it. Mm-hmm. They downplayed the situation and said the lady, because she was a prostitute, they said she deserved to be raped. No woman, child, or anyone in this world or man deserves to be, no matter their lifestyle or what they do in life. It's still to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter what.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
And that was the point where I was getting at. That's exactly what I told my lawyer. And he was like, well, she's in the business for sex for dollars. You're going to prison. This is a matter of how long. Really, they wanted to give me 20 to 30 years. They wanted to give us all of us 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky that I got what I got. I'm about to get out in 2028. Now, I don't know who all is listening to this podcast. I don't know who all is, but I will say this. This is me being me right now. I'm sitting in prison, and I'm semi-proud, semi-ashamed of what I did. I know this. I'll be 39 when I get out of prison, and I'll never do nothing like this again. Like you said, the lifestyle is bad. I wouldn't turn back to that lifestyle even if you paid me $1 million or more to go back in. But I've lost a lot of friends, and I don't know, when I get out, I probably gained a lot of friends. But I just want everybody to know that if you decide to do something like this, like Mr. Pig said, weigh your options before you do it, because there are severe consequences.
Yeah. Well, Richard, we appreciate you coming on and telling your story. We can't thank you enough. So
very, very pleased to let y'all know what happened. I look forward, maybe if I get out, to coming on your show in person.
That's right. You don't have much longer, right? You only have a couple years.
I've got 38 months left minimum and 49 max.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing more about your story as you progress and you get out of prison, and we pray that you stay on the right path.
Right. Hey, thank y'all. God bless you.
Thank you.